Hi everyone, I hope everyone is having a brilliant day. I'm Tarasha, welcome to my channel. We are going to talk about Hasbro Entertainment, and we're also going to talk about Transformers and G.I. Joe, like a animated team up crossover. I think it's brilliant, by the way. Now let's just hop right into this and let's talk about all this stuff. Okay, let's do this. Let's do this. We're going to talk about Hasbro Entertainment first because it's a lot to unpack. It really is. So I read a couple of articles about it. So let's read the article and let's break down what I think about everything in this article. So, which I'll put right here so you guys can see. Hasbro Entertainment slate includes films and scripted and unscripted Clue series. Now, a lot of us know what Clue is if you have seen the movie. Clue series with Sony, a live action Dungeons and Dragons series, Forgotten Realms at Netflix. Now, I did see the Dungeon and Dragon film that came out not too long ago, and I thought that was funny. I thought it was funny entertainment, and I love Chris Pines, and I thought it was so good. And another Monopoly film with Lucky Cap with Liongate, an unscripted Monopoly series for Netflix, a Magic the Gathering live action film, TV universe partnership with Legendary, and an animated series with at Netflix. Now, this is when it gets to the part when I was reading this. This is when I screamed, which I knew already about, but I screamed about it. But a live action Power Ranger TV series, which I did talk about on here, with 20th Century TV for Disney Plus. So it looks like it's going through for the TV show for Power Rangers for the reboot. Now, you guys know how I feel about Power Rangers. It's near to my heart. I could talk so many episodes about Power Rangers. And I did express how I feel about reboot of Power Ranger. I think this is a good idea. And the reason why I say this is a good idea is because Power Rangers have been around for like, I want to say 30 years. And it has a broad fan base. And I think that a reboot, depending on how they're going to do the reboot, because they could start off any way they want to. It necessarily doesn't have to be with the Mighty Morphin. It could be something else. They could put their own spin on it. And I believe the showrunners of Percy Jackson and the Olympians are involved with this, which I love because they doing a great job with the first season and the second season, which comes out in December. So I cannot wait for the second season of Percy Jackson, but some good people are the showrunner for this show. And if you do it the right way and listen to like fans and stuff, because you could run into some Power Ranger fans, you really can. And I believe, in my opinion, I have opinions about everything that goes on with Power Rangers and with the Zords, how you morph, everything, right? I think this is good news. Other than after the Power Ranger reboot series, a My Little Pony live action film, and I didn't really get into My Little Pony like that. I had them. But I didn't I used to play with them, but I know there's an animated series now, and I see little kids today loving My Little Pony, and I love that. I love when kids love something and they just express how they love it. I love that. The next thing, which is going to be a live action film at Amazon and MGM Studios. Now they also have game show based on Trivia Pursuit and Scrabble, recently renewed for second seasons by the CW. So I love everything in this article. I really do. Because Hasbro has a lot of IP. They really do. And if you could bring those to life and people love them and you have a good people behind it, good writing behind it, good characters, it could be something great, I believe. The next thing I really want to talk about is the fact that Robert Kirkman, who's involved with Invincible, which I could talk about all the time, and I recently just talked about it in my last video, and here we go talking about it again. I don't mind at all. Now, Robert Kirkman has been involved with Walking Dead, Invincible, and he also, I believe he co-wrote it, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's based on Robert Kirkman's, I'm going to pronounce this wrong, Egon Universe comic series, which involved G.I. Joe and Transformers. I love that. Now, it's supposed to be an adult animation. Love that. They said it would be in the same vein as Invincible. Y'all know how much I like Invincible, okay? And I love this because I love G.I. Joe and I love Transformers. And I feel like if you put both of those together, you have something really great. Now, there was, I think the beginning of this year, there was an announcement, but I haven't heard anything about it, that the fact that they wanted to do a G.I. Joe and Transformers crossover live action movie. And I haven't heard anything since. When I do hear something about it, I probably will make a video about it because I feel like that would be good too. With Transformers and G.I. Joe, and they merge somehow and just make it a great action movie. Because I grew up on Transformers cartoons and also G.I. Joe cartoons. And I thought G.I. Joe, the movies that we've had in the past, I love the first one. And I thought the stuff that we got from G.I. Joe before is really good, I believe. And I also feel like if they can't do the G.I. Joe um, team up with Transformers, just reboot G.I. Joe and make it something that the fans will love. Because for me, when it comes to stuff that we know and grew up with, is say Transformers, G.I. Joe, Power Rangers, or it comes down to like childhood stuff like, okay, Rugrats or Hey Arnold or something like that. And you want to make something do something different with it, make something different out of it. You know, it's okay to stray a little bit, but not too far from the original story. You know, there's so much stuff that you could do with Power Rangers. There's so much stuff that you could do with Transformers and G.I. Joe. Just don't make it corny. That's the only thing. And I love Power Rangers. And Power Rangers is on the midst of like um good action and good story, but a little bit of cheese in it. I love it. Because as a child, it was, until today, it's the same thing. It's the greatest thing in my book, in my head. Anything that I read or I see in a movie or TV show, I get excited. I'm a kid again. I never got rid of the imagination part of my brain. I never got rid of it. And I will never get rid of it. When I read a book, I imagine what it's going to look like. Same thing when I hear a synopsis for a movie, right? And I in my brain, I'm picturing how is it going to be in my head. Anytime, y'all know I love Marvel, and I feel like I haven't talked about Marvel in a while. I gotta fix that. I love Marvel. Anytime they come out with something and say, well, we're going to do this so and so as a TV show or this as a movie, I imagine, okay, what is this going to be like? Same thing goes for DC. Like they're doing Brave and the Bold, which is going to be the Batman movie. And for me, it's like, okay, what is this Batman going to be like? Is he going to be, he has to be in his mid or early 40s because Damien's supposed to be in it. And Damien is his son, so he has to be around like his late 30s, early 40s. Who are they going to cast? Who will be a great person to play Batman? So anytime, who's going to be like Damien? So I'm imagining like who's a good actor to play this characters, and everybody got their fan fiction of who they're fan casting or who they want to play a certain character. Now, I've never said this, and I'm going to say it right now. So David Cosway, who plays Superman now, I seen him in a TV show. I want to say a couple years ago. I want to say about 2 or 3 years ago, and I was watching the show, and I said, "Okay, he looks like Superman." And now a couple years now, he's Superman. And crazy, I do cast people in my head. Sometimes I don't say it out loud. I did say one out loud. Now, this is briefing off the topic of what we're talking about right now, but not really. So, and actually, I haven't even said the news out here. So it got announced that they're doing a live action of the Jetsons, right? You guys should know who the Jet. If you guys don't know what the Jetsons is a cartoon from the '60s. Think Flintstones, but futuristic. Think it that way, okay? And which I've watched all the animated Flintstones, Jetsons. They also had a movie together. Jetsons also had an animated movie, and Flintstones, which we know is a cartoon, had their own not TV show, movie in the '90s. So it does seem right to do a live action Jetsons. I've been saying for the last 5 to 6 years, the person who that should play George Jetson should be Jim Carrey. Okay, I've been saying that for a long time. And the reason why I say Jim Carrey, knowing the fact he came out and said he was retiring, but he's been in the Sonic the Hedgehog movies, which he's brilliant in, by the way. And all of a sudden, I seen this a couple days ago, more than a couple days ago. I got extremely excited. Now he's in talks of being in the movie, right? I hope he takes it because I think he would be a brilliant George. I really do. Just the fact that Jim Carrey's very animated, and he shows it with his expressions and every inch of his body, right? And I love his comedian style. I really do. Now, he did the same thing when Christmas is coming up, right? The one movie that gets played in my house and probably everywhere in the world is How the Grinch Stole Christmas. He did an amazing job with Grinch, okay? And I feel like he could put that same type of thing with George Jetson. I really do believe that. Now, I said this on another social media app, and people say, well, he's aged out. I don't think he's aged out. I really don't think so. Because the Jetsons, there's a mom, which is Judy, I believe. And you have a mom, you have the sister, which is, I believe, between the ages of 15, 16, because she's boy crazy. And then you have Elroy, which is the son, and he loves basketball. And then you have the dog, and then you have the robot. Then you have Mr. Spacek. I hope I said that right. But there's so many elements. This was a show that was in the 60s, but futuristic, flying cars, how they, did minimize stuff futuristic. But it was a really good show. It lasted for more than a couple of seasons. And I feel like you could put that into a movie. I really do think so. And to say, oh, we're going to do a live action. So I feel like when they did Flintstones, it was the perfect timing to do Flintstones. I feel like if they would have done it back then, it probably would have been as popular. You never know. But doing it now, I feel like it's the right time. Because I love Jetsons, and I want to see the whole futuristic of it and stuff like that. Because I'm into futuristic stuff at the moment because ever since I seen Fantastic Four, the Fantastic Four First Steps, I've been into futuristic stuff. I've been into futuristic stuff, but I want to see more of it, and I want to see. I think that the Jetsons could bring that. I really do think so. So hopefully he takes the role, and hopefully very soon that we see castings for the movie, because anything from like Flintstones, because to be honest, here's where my mind is. Here's I'm going to do a mapping. Okay, let's do a mapping. So things that are coming out in the next couple of years. This goes for TV and movies. Okay, so we're getting a Scooby-Doo live action. It's coming from Netflix. We're also getting a Jetsons live action, and hopefully that comes out in the next like 2 years. We're also getting there's nothing on the Flintstones, but I did do a video that the fact that they're thinking about doing another animation type of thing with Flintstones. Um Anything else? Power Rangers, which we just talked about, it's getting a reboot. My Little Pony getting a film live action. Um Monopoly, um, Clue. So all these things that, especially when it comes to Scooby Doo and Jetsons, those are the ones I grew up with watching reruns of and new shows of Scooby Doo. I love Scooby Doo, and then re binge watching the Jetsons and doing reruns of the Jetsons and stuff. So for me, it's like some of the stuff I used to rewatch as a child or do watch reruns is is coming to life in live action, excuse me. Live action. It's a brilliant thing, I believe. You know, stuff that you've seen as a kid as a cartoon is being live action, right? So you say the same thing for Transformers or GI Joe. So, and I've also talked about reboots when it comes to reboot movies. And I'll quickly say what I think about reboot movies. I think sometimes it's a good thing, sometimes it's not a good thing. And I'll make a better description of it. When it's a good thing and you putting your own spin on it, it's a great thing. And adding the newer cast with the older cast. When it comes to it's not a good thing and you're telling the same story and you can add different elements to it, that's not a good thing in my good book in my book at all. Add something new to it, you know. Get a different twist on it, something. That's what I say, because certain reboots, like they want to do a reboot of The Bodyguard. And then they also want to do a reboot or make a second one of The Goonies. I think The Goonies would be a really good idea to add the cast members that was in the first one, because Goonies is a great movie. But when The Bodyguard with Kevin Costner and Whitney Houston, who's going to play Whitney Houston's part? That's my thing. That movie is a classic. Okay, it's a classic. No. Now, Gremlins, they're thinking about doing Gremlins. I think that's a good idea. Okay? And I've said this before, many times before. Every time I see a gremlin, I see this. I really do. And if you don't know what this is a Furby, okay? This is a gremlin. This is a Furby, okay? And for me, it's like I love the Gremlins. I really do. I've only watched the first two movies, and I loved both of those. So I would love to see what they would do with a reboot of Gremlins. Furby's just a toy. I love Furbies. Okay, I had too many of them, but I love them. But like certain IPs and stuff like that, certain reboots and stuff, it depends on everything. It really does. Because I've said on here, my my rules or my what I want to see in the movie is that you have to have a good script, good people behind it, and good casting. And I think when it comes to the Jetsons, I think I casted that very perfectly in my head. I really do think so. But that's what I wanted to talk about was Robert Kirkman, who I think is brilliant. And I want to talk about Jetsons and talk about G.I. Joe and Transformers and just everything in particular what's going in my head when I seen all this. Hasbro Entertainment has some stuff that they want to make into live action or TV show series or the Dungeon and Dragons um, series and stuff like that. So I think that would be brilliant because Netflix right now is coming out with a lot of stuff left and right, right? And I think that the Scooby-Doo one is very high on my list because I love Scooby-Doo. But I hope you guys are having a brilliant day, having a beautiful day, and I hope you guys like and comment, and I hope you guys subscribe because I am being more consistent over here because there's a goal that I do want to meet, which is 200 subscribers, and we're right around the corner. We really are. That's the goal that I really want to meet by the end of this year. And I think we can do it and get over a little bit. I really do think so. So I hope you guys are having a brilliant, beautiful day. Bye.